welcome to Know How To. My name is Amit and I am having around 5 years of experience in .NET technologies along with Angular, and right now I am working in one of the top 4 audit firm of world. I am based in India, and now we are going to start a new series on Angular. It is going to be an amazing series on Angular because we are going to have a interview question interview related questions corner also. So there we'll discuss some of the best interview related questions, and apart from that we are going to start this series from very basics. Okay, so if you don't know anything about Angular, then this is the right platform you should come on. Okay, so we'll see in this video we are going to discuss about very basics of Angular. Okay, so let's start. So the very first version that Google has launched was Angularjs. It was developed by Google in 2010, and this is the first platform or first framework, we can say, that enabled the development of interactive single page applications and responsive websites. Okay, it was written using JavaScript, but after facing a lot of competition from React.js as well as Vue.js, Google created a new, basically a completely new framework which is known as Angular, basically the higher versions of Angular, and it was written using TypeScript. So as of now, the higher version of Angular started from Angular 2, and they released Angular 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a newly latest version of Angular has came as Angular 9 in February 2020. And why not AngularJS? So actually it completely depends upon the project architecture whether you need to follow Angular or AngularJS, but there are some key areas in which Angular is leading much more ahead of AngularJS. So we will discuss all of them one by one. Okay, so first point is architecture. So AngularJS was using MVC architecture. So we were having model, view as well as controller. We used to write our business logic in model, and we used to write actions and functions in controller, action function basically, and view was used to render the model. Okay, so it was based on MVC architecture, but our Angular is based on component. It is following component based architecture, and components are the future of web development. So what I want to say that you can write your project code into small components, and these will be helpful for your code reusability as well. And apart from that, if you are writing your project code into small components, then you can write unit test cases and you can test your components very easily. So in this case, Angular is much more ahead of AngularJS. If we talk about performance, then it has been said that Angular, if the code is written in a proper way, then an Angular application is 5 times faster than an AngularJS application. So if we talk about the initial load time, okay, if we talk about change detection, and if we talk about rendering time, then all these things are faster in Angular compared to AngularJS. So AngularJS became popular because of its two-way data binding. Okay, so basically whatever changes you made into model, those will get reflected into view, and whatever changes you had made into view, those will get reflected into model. And model and view were, there was a bridge between model and view that was known as a scope variable. Okay, but I remember the time in which I was writing my application in AngularJS, and there used to come some such kind of scenarios in which we had made some changes into a scope variable into model, but it was not reflecting into view, because for change detection AngularJS uses digest cycle, but when it is going to run, when it is going to check the change detection, it totally depends upon the AngularJS architecture. So sometimes the changes were reflecting, and sometimes the changes were not reflecting into view. So we used to do a lot of hacks for this one. Okay, but you will not face any such kind of scenario in Angular. Whatever changes you had made, it will definitely reflect. So we use property binding over here, we use event binding. We will discuss much more about components, property binding, events binding, etc. in our further videos. So the next point is mobile support. Actually, by using AngularJS, we can build a website for mobile as well. But for that one, we need to use so many third-party tools. But Angular has been made to support mobile from very starting point. So we can write websites which are too much responsive, which can support any platform like laptop, desktop, or mobile, as well as tablets. So it it can support various platforms as well. And if we talk about dependency injection, then in terms of dependency injection, we were using dependency injection in AngularJS as well, but we were using the DI in AngularJS in terms of link functions, in terms of directives, etc. But here in Angular, we had made dependency injection much more easier. We can directly use it in the constructor function, and it had made the complete application much more easier. Okay. Apart from that, Angular support Angular CLI. So Angular always comes with Angular CLI. It is a command line interface for Angular. So it helps us to write the complete code in just a fraction of seconds. For example, we can generate our component, our services just via a single command. And not only component and models and services, you can generate the complete application in just fraction of seconds. So Angular CLI is one of the major tool of Angular, and AngularJS was not having any Angular CLI. Okay. If we talk about the language choices that Angular support, so we have n number of languages that Angular can support. For example, you can write your code into ECMAScript 5, you can write your code into ECMAScript 6, as well as Angular support Typescript as well. So there are n number of choices, language choices, that a developer can choose and write their Angular code. But AngularJS, it was having only JavaScript. So we need to write only JavaScript code. Then only AngularJS can work. Okay. So these are the various areas in which Angular is ahead of AngularJS. So it is, as I had already said, that component is the future of web development. So if you want to learn a language which can bring the happiness in your future life also, that means you need not to learn so many languages in future, then go for Angular instead of AngularJS. Okay. Next, we'll discuss about some of the basic interview questions that has been asked into so many interviews that I had attended. Okay. So what is a single page application? So here we will go through the questions, and if you need answers of any of the questions, then please comment in the video. We'll discuss about these questions in the later section. So AngularJS came up with the concept of single page application. If you're writing one application, then we can convert that application into a single page application by using AngularJS. The same thing goes to Angular also. We'll deep dive into the concept of single page application in our further videos. Why Angular has more popularity than AngularJS? This thing we had already discussed recently. Okay. Do you need to learn AngularJS before learning Angular? No, there is no need to learn AngularJS before learning Angular, because Angular is just not a transition from AngularJS to Angular. It is not a simple upgrade. It is a completely new platform. It is a completely new framework. Okay, so there is no need to learn AngularJS before learning Angular. What is the difference between Angular and AngularJS? We had already discussed this thing in our previous slide. So this is one of the very basic question that has been asked in so many interviews. Okay, what is ECMAScript? So we'll discuss what is ECMAScript. So basically the JavaScript language standard is officially known as ECMAScript. So ECMAScript has been released from version 1 to version 7, and most of the browsers support ECMAScript 5, and still they are in the way to support ECMAScript 6 and ECMAScript 7. So suppose an application is using ECMAScript 6 or 7, then browser will convert the ES6 or ES7 into ES5 using the concept known as transpilation, and ES6 will gets converted into ES5, and it will that particular browser will support ES5. So this is ECMAScript. Next is, what is TypeScript and which benefits it provides over JavaScript? It is the most important question, because it is it is not a simple change from AngularJS to Angular. AngularJS was supporting JavaScript while Angular is supporting TypeScript. So in a interview, interviewer can ask that why TypeScript and why not JavaScript. So there are so many features that TypeScripts provide us. Okay, we'll discuss them. And basically TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. So whatever JavaScript is supporting, TypeScript will automatically support it. Okay, which all editors we can use to code in Angular? So as of now, in our further videos, I am going to write the code in VS Code. Okay, and apart from that, you can use Eclipse, you can use Wavestorm, Atom, or Sublime Text. So there is a feasibility of editor. You can use any kind of IDE, but for our feasibility we are going to use VS Code. The last but not the least question is, which one should I use, Angular or React, and what is the main difference between them? So in our videos we'll discuss what is reactive programming approach and what are the benefits it provides over non-reactive programming approach also. Stay tuned and happy coding, and please don't forget to subscribe know how to. Thank you.